Hello, my name is Nate Grebe. I'm going to be doing the Tuesdays at 2 demo for VictorOps solo today, and I'm just going to jump right into it. Here we go. Jump into screen share. So this is the VictorOps portal. This is where you would spend most of your time when interacting with our application. Everything that I'm about to show you up until the point where I hit settings, reports, or billing is also available on our native Android and iOS applications. Starting over here on the left is what we call the people pane. It includes all of the members of your organization. The oak leaf denotes who is currently on call for the highlighted team. Down here are all the people who are not on call, but you can see there's a little dot next to their name. If they were logged into the app, that would be a vibrant green shade. That will let you know that they're available. So if you needed some help from someone that may be not on call at the time, you can reach out to them. Clicking in on an individual, you are presented with all of their contact information. This way you can quickly get a hold of them if they're not responding through the application. You also have the option to take on call. How we generally do this is we can do an app mention, similar to a Twitter, which sends a push notification to the phone. So, hey, can you take on call for me? This will send a push notification to my phone, and then I can go in and take on call for the person asking me. The other option would be to do an at mention. This will contact every single person on that team, and they will all get push notifications to their phone. Moving into the center timeline here, this is what we call just the VictorOps timeline. It has all of the on-call changes, pages, alerts, and chat messages. So there's all that information in one place. I'm now going to create a sample instance using our cubot integration. Cubot is a chat robot that pays attention to what you say here, and they can go do things. In this example, I'm going to be hitting our REST endpoint to create a critical incident so I can walk you through the life cycle of that incident. As you see, it opens up in the main timeline. It also queues up here on the right. It says who's it's paging, and it comes with a couple annotations, which I can talk about a little later. Clicking in on the incident, you are presented with the timeline specific to this incident. So when I hack it, the information shows up both here in the main timeline and over here in the incident timeline. The other option would be to reroute, which is going to be down here. Rerouting an incident sends it off to someone else in your organization or to a different team. So if I think this incident is better suited for the database team, I can send it off to them without having to look up who is on call and what their contact information is. Again, this all shows up within the incident timeline, so you have a consolidated view specific to just this alert. Typing into the incident timeline will again send out a push notification, but it will also automatically append the incident ID number so that when you get that push notification to your phone, you know what you're being called in to help out with. That about covers the main timeline and just the general portal view here. Actually, one last thing, besides the filters here, which just kind of gets things consolidated just down to what you're interested in, we also have maintenance mode. Maintenance mode allows you to stop all paging for a certain period of time. So if you know you're going to be having a scheduled downtime or some sort of maintenance on your end that is going to cause a lot of alerts, you can stop all pages until you are done with that. At the end, all outstanding triggered incidents will resume paging, but you won't wake up anyone during the night. Moving on to settings. Again, this is now outside of what is available on the Android and iOS app. We just figured it would be easier to deal with the administrative side of things using the web portal. This is our different scheduling options. So as you see, we can do the normal, you're on for a week. This would be about what 90% of our customers use. We also have the option, just a couple days at a time, and even a follow the sun rotation that hits 4 different countries and hands the pager off between multiple groups. Clicking in on one of these many different teams, you are presented with the escalation policy. An escalation policy is a series of time-based steps that the VictorOps platform will run through until an incident is acknowledged. As you see here, we start off by notifying the on-duty user in the primary rotation. That is defined down here. After 15 minutes, we can notify an individual user. Other options are to execute a policy for a different team. Great if you have a tiered support system and want to automatically escalate an issue after a certain time period. Again, notify an individual user, or you can also execute a webhook. In this case, we're firing the employee who has not taken care of the incident after almost an hour. The other final option not mentioned in here would be to send an email. Great for someone outside of the VictorOps organization that you would never necessarily want to get their hands on an alert itself, but may want to know if something is not getting taken care of. Moving on to the individual users, when you are getting alerted, you set up your own personal paging policy, as we call it. Again, this is a series of time-based steps that VictorOps will run through until the incident is acknowledged. The options here are to send an email, then after 15 minutes, but it could be anywhere from 1 minute to an hour, send a push notification. Other options are an SMS or a phone call. The SMS comes with a 3-digit code that would allow you to acknowledge or resolve the incident directly from the text message, so you don't necessarily have to log back into the VictorOps platform. Moving on to integration options, as you see, we have a number of different integrations here. A lot of them fall into this singular REST endpoint. Some of the other ones have different templating and different things we built up on our back end, so they require a different endpoint, but essentially they are all hitting a REST endpoint of some sort on our end. What we have here within the URL is an API key that's specific to your organization, and then a routing key that determines what team it's going to. The routing key is defined at the bottom of the integrations page under incident routing. As you see, it can be any string, but database will go to database, VictorOps to follow the sun, etc. You can create as many rules as you like, and each rule can go to as many teams as you'd like. Similar to the REST endpoint, but a little less customizable, is the email endpoint. This, again, has an API key specific to your organization, and then a routing key, again, defined at the bottom of the page. What we do here is we parse out the subject line so that to look for key terms like critical, acknowledged, resolved. If we are unable to parse it, you have the option to make all alerts either info or critical. Critical will, of course, page. Moving on to our reports, we have a number of different reports. These 3 main ones here are high-level incident metrics for your overall organization. So how many critical alerts you get, how long it takes to acknowledge and resolve, and then different incident trends. Clicking in on the incident frequency, you will see that we have all of the different entities broken down, and then how often they are creating incidents. This way, you can get a good view into what's being the noisiest and what you might need to tweak at your next on-call handoff meeting. Scrolling over them will bring up the last thing so you know exactly what you're looking at there. User metrics, this is our most recent report that we've released. It's very straightforward. It breaks it down by individual, how many incidents, how many acknowledgements, their mean time to acknowledgement, how often they recover, and their mean time to recovery. Very straightforward there. Great just for a manager to kind of get a high-level overview. Last but not least, our most popular report, the post-mortem report. This allows you to select a time period from when an outage occurred, and it will bring up every single item that happened during that time in the timeline. You can give it a little write-up saying what happened and how you solved it, and then you can go in and clean up the different items that appeared in the timeline to break it down to just the few that you want to document. You can add notes to kind of say what each step the process was in order to solve the issue. From there, you can save it. It will save to within the VictorOps platform, and you can also print it out as part of a PDF and ship it off as part of an SLA. Moving back to the timeline, I wanted to point out one more feature that we just released and is currently in a beta testing stage for some of our customers, and that is annotations, which allow you to annotate specific information such as notes, links, or images that are specific to the information within the alert. So that way, based on host name or really anything that comes through the payload, you're able to get the information that you need right away programmatically. If you have any questions about this or anything else I covered during this demo, do not hesitate to reach out to support@victorops.com. Going back here, Thanks again for watching. If you have any other questions, again, support@VictorOps.com. You'll get in contact with me, and I can help you out. Thank you.